Good evening, YouTube. Hardball Crazy here, coming back up the video. Today's video is inspired by Vintage Car Steve. He did it a while back. Some his players from his PC from the state of Nebraska, his local state. So it inspired me to do one for guys from Michigan, Michiganders, as we call them here. These are all players from Michigan. There's a lot of them I don't have. There's quite a bit of players from the state of Michigan. This is just some of the highlights of some players from Michigan. And kind of showcase some of the cards I have on my PC. Some are great Hall of Famers, a couple slab cards here. Some are lesser known players, and as you imagine, a lot of Tigers are in here because baseball scouting, especially pre-draft, is more locally based, I guess. And, a lot of Yankees would be Northeast guys, and Cardinals would be Cubs. But I got a lot of players in the Midwest, and so the Tigers get a lot of players from the state of Michigan and the surrounding area. So there's be quite a few Tigers in here, but these are cards in my PC from the state of Michigan. For the most part, these guys are born and raised in Michigan, but I'm going to showcase a couple guys first who were born in Michigan but basically raised somewhere else. So if you see birth year, birthplace in Michigan, but they're moved away from their youngsters with their families, so they're not really raised Michigan. I don't know if you call them Michiganders or not, but a couple guys born in Michigan but moved elsewhere is Bobby Grich from Muskegon, and he moved on elsewhere. You all know Bobby. And Jason Varitek was born in Rochester, Michigan, near Detroit, but he moved to Florida as a youngster. There's a couple of players who were born elsewhere but went to high school in Michigan. Of course, the most prominent one, probably everybody comes to mind, you probably all know, is Derek Jeter. He's actually born in New Jersey, but he went to high school. I don't know what point in his youth he moved to Michigan, but he went to high school in Kalamazoo and drafted by the Yankees there. And one other prominent current major leaguer who was went to high school in Detroit area, but born elsewhere, is DJ LeMahieu of the Yankees. He's a Michigander, so he's one of the more prominent recent guys, major leaguers who went to high school in Michigan. He went up going to college at LSU. He was a good enough player. And go baseball, you go to SEC to play baseball and get better coaching, better opportunities, get drafted and so forth. Don't blame him. A couple of old guys, Hall of Famers that grew up in Michigan. Kiki Kyler. This is my 35 Diamond Stars Kiki Kyler. And Charlie Gehringer, 39 play ball. Detroit Tiger Hall of Famer, the Mechanical Man. Another old Hall of Famer, got a raw card, is Hal Newhouser, Prince Hal. These guys are all in this random order from here on out. So here's one of the lesser known players, but he has a kind of claim to fame right now and noteworthy. This is Andy Van Hecken. He played very briefly with the Tigers. He's from Holland, Michigan, the West Side State. What's noticeable about Andy Van Hecken is that he's the last pitcher in MLB history to throw a complete game shutout in his first MLB debut. So Andy Van Hecken. I think that may be his only career win. He went to bounce around and all over internationally to play, but he might, most recently played in Korea, I think. I don't think he's still playing or not. From Zeeland, Michigan, which is near the West Side State, is everybody familiar with. Some people didn't say he's a Hall of Famer, but everybody's familiar with his broadcasting too. Jim Kaat, this is 1960 Topps rookie. He's from Michigan. This guy here, I showed this case card before because he's having my collection because he's very close to where I grew up in the little towns. Homer, Michigan. 10 minutes away or so from me is Josh Colementor. This is 2011 Topps Update card with Diamondbacks. Played briefly with the Braves also. I don't think he's playing. I think he's done playing. Um, Classic 89 Upper Deck rookie card of the one and only Jim Abbott, who went to high school in the Flint area. World Series Hero ×2, Kirk Gibson. High school in Detroit area. I went to school in Michigan State. Go Green. Another local player from Detroit area with MLB fame. One of my ugliest rookie cards ever. I hate these cards. 92 Bowman, Derek Lowe. He's from Michigan. Derek Jeter, Derek Lowe, and myself were all at the high school in Michigan about the same time, played baseball at the same time, but guess who didn't make the majors? This guy. Next up, one of my all-time favorites. I actually lived in walking distance where he went to high school. John Smoltz. One of the reasons I became a Braves fan in the 90s was because of John Smoltz. My all-time favorites. I've been contemplating PCing him or not to make cards I can, but I'm not a big fan of have a total super collector of a player, but he's one of the guys I would consider. He was going to go to Michigan State as a football/basketball player, but Tigers signed him away. World Series hero, Gold Glove winner Mickey Stanley, most famous for Gold Glove center fielder playing shortstop in '68 World Series to get more bats in the lineup for the outfield. One of the gutsiest calls ever by a Major League manager in World Series history. Guy probably should get more Hall of Fame consideration. Like a 11-time All-Star, 8-time All-Star winner, and Gold Glove winner, about that same amount. '68 Tiger, Bill Freehand. This is greatest the game autograph. Another old-timey player, White Sox great, Billy Pierce. Grew up in Michigan, actually debuted with the Tigers in '45, but became a White Sox star. Got his number retired in Chicago White Sox history. One of the newly minted Hall of Famers, Ted Simmons. Here's a player who was discovered in prison in the early '70s. Became an all-star, Ron LaFleur. They made a movie about him, about it. Tigers manager Billy Martin at the time, he had a friend who works like a security officer at the Detroit prison in Detroit, a prison in Michigan, and they discovered Ron LaFleur. They signed him out of prison, and there he goes, Ron LaFleur. Former Tiger All-Star is my favorite quotes of all time in baseball. He threw them in the 90s and the 70s, and 70s and the 90s. Frank Tanana. Here's a through the mail autograph I got from Frank Tanana. I always signed it with a Babbler script, and he's a very good at TTMing. Frank Tanana. If you're old enough, you remember his clincher 1-0 clincher '87 to win the '87 division title against the Blue Jays. He's from the Detroit high schools. Detroit Catholic, I think, one of the Catholic high schools. Former Cy Young winner, Pat Hinken. He's from Michigan. Basketball Hall of Famer who played briefly with the White Sox is Dave DeBusschere. Went to school at U of D and playing for the Detroit Pistons and New York Knicks, and part of the Knicks championship teams with Earl of Pearl, Walt Frazier, Willis Reed, and Phil Jackson, and all those sorts. And my last one, I picked up around the time of the MLB draft. Is hopefully this is not guy has yet to be a major leaguer. He just got drafted in the 2020 draft, and he's from the Detroit Public School League, and he's part of the RBI program, and we're hoping that he'll. Is Warner Blakely. He went to high school in the Detroit area, Public School League. I'm trying to remember what school it is, but I cannot remember. And he was going to commit to Auburn to play. He's a shortstop. Got drafted by the Angels, like 111th pick overall, which is like the 4th, 5th round, and signed with the Angels. So hopefully, this is a 2019 Bowman Under Armour game card. This is my first one I wanted to get card from this collection, so I rooting this guy. He's from the Detroit area public school league RBI program, and there were articles about him in the local papers, the Detroit papers, about be the best high school player in Detroit since LeMahieu in comparison to LeMahieu and Jeter. But he's very raw, so won't be in the majors for a few years. But I'm rooting for him. Warner Blakely. There you have it. Those are players from the state of Michigan. Hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you for watching.